What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Summoners War Chronicles video. We are back. We are making content for the game. It's been a while. I'm getting it back to the game after being a while doing a video for Comtours. They wanted me to come on, give you guys some new hints and some new stuff on the new Evangelion collab that is happening right now. That is a cool thing that is. All right, she's being dramatic. All right, so the cool thing happening right now is that right now is the Evangelion collab. So obviously we have two new characters in the game, which is Shinji and Rei, and we get the other two later on. But right now, this video will be focused on Shinji and Rei, which I will focus on later. The first part of this video will be a more guide for new and returning players, which is kind of good for you and me. I haven't played the game in a very long time. This is pretty much schedule. There's a lot to pretty much like come back to when it comes to the game. There's a lot, and this game is pretty grindy, but I don't mind the grind. I actually do really like some of those Chronicles. People think someone don't like, I don't know why, but I actually really do like Summoners War Chronicles. I played this game since literally day one. I remember the first thing I did for Summoners War Chronicles with 24-hour stream. It was very fun. I had a lot of good time, and I have liked all of the updates coming to the game. There have been some good, some bad, some highs, some lows, but I really do want this game to succeed. I want this game to do super well, and hopefully Comtours will start doing their part in order to help this game get better over time. It has been pretty rough, but hopefully with this guide, especially with these new players coming in for the Summoners War Chronicle X Evangelion collab, you guys can stick around because I really do like this game, and I do think it's very fun, especially for people that are like free to play or people that want to put money into the game. I do have a video talking about this discussion. It's pretty much from a while ago, but I still think it applies. This game is super free to play friendly. You do not have to spend a dime in this game to have fun. Obviously, if you want to be the best at the best, you got to put money into the game. But if you're a person that's like, man, this is super fun, I just want a little bit of a grindy game, do some stuff here and there, you know, take up my time, and have some fun while doing so, this is a great game for that. And I do have a free-to-play account, which I do have videos on that too. I played this game free-to-play for like 3-4 months, and it was great. I didn't really find it to be much of a problem, and I played this game. This is my main account that we're currently on right now, where I put money into the game, and I've gotten a lot of stuff for it, and I don't feel too much of a difference. Obviously, I've gone a little bit further because my pay to win account, I guess you can call it, is basically started from day one. But I do think you can play this game free to play if you're just coming in and you're realizing, is this game super, like, do I have to put a lot of money into this game? No, you do not. You do not have to put money into the game. And if you want me to make a guide on free to play playing in 2024, sure, just put it in the comment section down below. But like I said, this guide is mainly for new and returning players, so I'm just gonna discuss mainly the beginning aspect of the game if you're just getting into the game, and what to focus on and how to get better. And I will have a timestamp. If you just want to know about Shinji and Rei, I will talk about them later in the video. But if you like the video, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for any future videos coming into the game, and comment on anything you would like to know about in the game. I will try to make a video on it so that way you guys can have an updated guide on said content, so that way you guys can have an easier time in Summoners War Chronicles in 2024 in freaking July, because this game is about to hit 2 years. Like I said, I really do like this game. I will say this nonstop. I really do enjoy it, and I just want the game to do well. I've always been fighting for this game to do a lot better and to get the updates that this game kind of needs in order to hit that next level. But like I said, this is for new and players, and we'll discuss Shinji and Rei later. So first off, let's start about the 5 characters and just what to do in the beginning aspect of the game. All right, so as you can see, my characters are here. We have the Kina, Orbia, Cleve, Soletta, and then we have on the dark side, we have Heath, and then we have a warrior character coming later this year as well. My main character is Orbia. As you can see, I've been playing Orbia since day one. She's been my favorite character. I mainly because she has a lot of good PvE. She has a very good PvE kind of like play style, and she's really good for the early game. I think she's, in my opinion, still the best early game summoner. This may have changed. I've kind of been out of the loop for a while, but I don't think the early game for Orbia has gotten any worse. I feel like it's still the same. Like you basically can power farm all the way to farming runes pretty early within the first couple of days, and then getting like the 5-star, the mythic runes that you kind of need. So I still think if you're a person that's like, I don't really want to focus too much on PvP. I really want to focus on PvE and grinding out and all this other stuff. Then I think Orbia is the best summoner for that. If you're more into PvP, then that's when we get into like Kina. Kina is still arguably, not even arguably, actually, I'm lying to myself. Kina's the best summoner in the game for PvP. Like she is all over the place. RTA, Siege, everything. She is the best. Her kit is amazing. You can run her bruiser, you can run her damage. She is just overall not even a debate. She is the best summoner in the game because she offers so much, whether she's on tank or whether she's on damage. But most people run her on tank nowadays, and even on tank, she still does a crap ton of damage. It's kind of insane. So if you want to just be the best, you want to be an Ash Ketchum of the game, just play Kina. Or you can also play Cleave. Cleave is also pretty good if you want to play the tank class. If you're kind of questioning their classes, Kina is more of a support base, even though I just said she does a lot of damage as a support. Her abilities are more a support. She has a heal, revive, she has buffs. She is literally a support, but they've kind of buffed her in ways that made her do really good damage as well. Orbia is the mage. She's primarily damage with debuffs, and she has self-healing on her dark staff, but she's primarily there for providing, she's basically an extra damage dealer, like a lot of content that you do. And then you have Cleave. Cleave is the tank. At least now. In the beginning of the game, he was not a tank. He was a damage dealer too. But Cleave is overall just a tank, bruiser. He CCs, he provokes. He basically, gets everybody off of. He gets the enemy team off your monsters, so your monsters can do your work. So when you think about Kina and Cleave are, well, technically every summoner is kind of monster based, but Kina and Cleave more because, like I said, in their intended role, especially in the early game, they're not really doing damage. So when you're playing Cleave and you're playing Kina, you're very focused on your monsters doing most of the work. Are they bad for early game? No, they're not bad for early game whatsoever, but just keep that in mind if you want to pick either character. If you want to pick Kina and Cleave, you want to make sure that you're really heavily focused on making your monsters the best they can, so that way you can make sure you're clearing content. Or the reason why Orbia is mainly good for early game content, because like I said, she's a damage dealer, so she's able to do a lot of damage herself, and basically you can add another damage dealer and you can clear you clear content a lot easier because you have that extra free damage on your team. Plus, I'll get into another reason why she's like one of the best in my opinion, if not the best early game summoner, if you really want to focus on that. But I would say for early game, she's probably the best and undeniably. She's really, really good. Soletta's the archer. She also had a peak where she was very good, and she was arguably the best summoner in the game, but that was when the game launched. Not that game launched, but that's when she launched, because she was the 4th summoner after launch. Basically, she's not that great anymore. She kind of got nerfed. I would say kind of, it's kind of an understatement. She got super nerfed because when she came out, she was super busted. She was really, really strong. She was out here just nuking everybody just by herself with the weakest stats you could ever see. She was just destroying everybody. Is she terrible? No, she's still pretty good, especially for PvE content because she offers damage and utility as well. She's kind of a mixture of like Orbia and Kina in a way, but more Orbia than Kina. I don't know if that makes sense, but she offers a good amount of self buffs and buffs to the team. That's why I say she's kind of Kina, but she also does really good damage herself, which kind of makes her pseudo and Orbia as well. Plus, if you like boobs, I'm just keep it real. If you like boobs, just pick her. I don't know, but yeah, no. Soletta's she's pretty good, but again, her time is kind of up. Then we have the last summoner that came into the game, which is Heath. Heath is an assassin. Heath is not also bad, but also if you play PvP with Heath or PvE with Heath, keep in mind that he is assassin. He's melee, so you got to get in to do a lot of the stuff you do. I haven't played too much of Heath, so I can't give you like a full-fledged opinion on him, and I kind of I don't like the assassin playstyle. That's kind of why I haven't even gone into him. But if you want to play an assassin playstyle, he's not bad. He's like, technically, when you really think about it, all the summoners are actually good. It's just kind of like, if you're if the question you have is who's great late game, who's great in PvP, then Heath isn't bad. But just know that if you play Heath in PvP, you gotta work a little harder. You gotta be a little bit sneakier. You gotta set up your team comp in a specific way. Just be knowledgeable of that going into the game. Again, he's also a damage dealer, so you won't have too much trouble early game. But just be mindful if you want to go into PvP like Arena or Siege or a Battlefield or anything like that. You have to be mindful that that's the character he is, and you have to play that type of style. So if I had a top 3 of characters that people should choose, funny enough, the first 3 summoners, which is Orbia, Cleave, and Kina. If you're planning on getting into this game long term and you really want to get into PvP and like again be an Ash Ketchum, then I would highly suggest go Kina and just don't waste your time with the other summoners. Or if you just want to stay more PvE focused, then I would say either go Orbi or Soletta. I think those are like the ways that people should go if they're just getting into the game and they're choosing what summoner they want to choose in order to progress through the game. But I think if you're a person, honestly, if you're like a person where you struggle a bit with like coming up with stuff and you want to make the game as easy as possible and streamlined as possible, and you're not too focused on PvP, pick Orbia. I think Orbia is just the best. She's like her fire staff early game just makes everything a lot easier, and I would just go from there. Now, past that, let's say you chose. It doesn't matter what summoner you choose from this point. Like I said, I haven't been through the early game process in a very, very, very long time. But I'm pretty sure it's probably still there. You get the 20 summons, and I know for sure Perna is in there. So if you're like, hey, which summoner should I choose in the early game? 100% pick Perna. Perna, I'm pretty sure is still like the best early game monster in the game. Perna is amazing. Perna does a lot of damage. Perna nukes like crazy. Ignores defense. Brands, which is getting a lot of content. Basically, this is the first monster you want to go for, and then after that, you want to focus on building a fire team so that way you can start doing tier glands as early as possible. After you go through the story of Summoners War Chronicles, the first place you want to go to is tier glands. Tier glands is really, really good, and as you can see from the statistics, as you see, Perna is number 1. So get your Perna. If you get a Huahi, that's awesome. If you get it to Sarion, and you're good to go. Also, I would say this in the early game, if people don't know this, building 5 stars in Summoners War Chronicles, especially now, is super expensive. So don't put them all the way to 100 because the level cap is 100 now. I would say put them to like 70 or 80. Like try to like evenly level up your monsters as you go. Let's say you don't get Huahi into Sarion. 1000% you're gonna get Perna because I'm pretty sure Perna is in a 20 summon. If Perna's not in a 20 summon, I know for sure you get a 5-star starter ticket. Use it on Perna and use it on Huahi. Like those are the first 2 monsters that you want to get if you are starting the game. No matter who you are, no matter what summoner you are, you want to get Perna and Huahi. The main reason why, like I said, because you want to get the tier gland as early as possible. Then the third monster can be almost anything. Like you see the list. Sarion's a great option if you're not Orbia. If you're not Orbia, get to Sarion 1000%. My team is literally these 3, the first 3 you see right here, and then I would just go from there. You also could get Karambit. Karambit is in Monster Story, so you get him as well. But like I said, building 5 stars in this game is super expensive. So, but I don't think it's as bad. I haven't been through the early game process in a while, which makes me want to do another early game video just to see the early game process of Summoners War. But I would say get these 3 ASAP, or you can actually get Perna. You could get Perna to Sarion, and then you can also rock a Colleen, because Colleen basically is a Huahi, like a Huahi light. And Colleen is this. Where is she at? There it is. Colleen right here. Colleen gives you attack buff. Colleen gives you a recoverable, which is pretty good for the boss because the boss will, if he gets his full attack, if he gets a soul gauge, he'll basically chomp somebody and he'll heal based off the damage. But with the heal block, he won't heal the damage. So that's why Colleen is pretty good early game. Like I would say like a good cheap early game team for the dungeon is Perna, Colleen, and then somebody that may apply a burn if you are not Orbia. If you are Orbia, you have the luxury of having Fire Stab, so you can just switch to Fire Stab and then essentially just burn the boss. And when the boss is burned, he loses his I can't do it because mine. Hold on one sec. Let me clear my runes and we'll come back. All right, so like I said, the reason why Orbi is pretty cool in this dungeon and what makes it pretty easier for early game is because, like I said, she applies the burn, which is really, really good. And basically that gets rid of the boss having this damage taken down buff, which is right here. That's why it's gone now, because the burn is now applied. So that's why Orbi is really good, because she applies the burn herself, and so you technically don't need to Sarion. I just have to Sarion it because I just have one build. But like I said, if you are not Orbia, then you want to make sure you have somebody in there that applies a debuff, primarily a burn. That's why Tessarion is a good option, but you really want to focus in on Perna, because you're going to use Perna literally everywhere. And the reason why you are going to farm tier Glands first is because you get those Rage Blade runes, and pretty much for every dungeon you're going to do, you're going to want damage. So you want to make sure that your damage dealers are built out. If you get any tank runes, just throw the tank runes on your damage dealers. And I mean, not your tank runes on your damage dealers. Throw the tank runes on like your tank bonds until you start farming the second dungeon that you want to focus on once your team is built, which is Queen Spider Nest, or Spider Hoe as I like to call her. So for Queen Spider Nest, ideally you want to have Argan, you want to have Naomi, and you want to have somebody else. Again, a 5-star, which is Argan, a 4-star, which is the Martial Cat, which is Naomi. Where is it? Naomi, which is right here. And then the fourth could be pretty much anything. As long as it's a wind monster, it could be Luis, or just someone that could maybe gives attack buff, or maybe that somebody that heals. Like I said, if you were ever questioning like who to throw in a team, look at these. Also Shannon, I think actually it should be Shannon. It's Argan, Naomi, and Shannon is what I have for my early team for Orbia. But you can do like just anybody that heals, like people out Jasir, people out Fengan, people out Luis. But a good, very cheap early game team is Argan, Naomi, and Shannon, and that's pretty good as well. So that's a team you can focus on like after you built the story. And these are the teams that'll get you in to basically doing a lot of that more in-game content, you know, when you start doing the raids. And raids are another thing. I may get into raids in a different video, but right now I'm just going to focus on dungeons. I don't want this video to get too long because I want to talk about Ray and Shinji. So that's for early game players. And like I said, if you want to make a raid guide, like a 2024 updated raid guide, again, just let me know in the comment section. I may just do it anyways, but just let me know. Just send me out communication. And now that we gone through that, I'm gonna talk about Shinji and Ray, and yeah, and just tell them the viability. All right, let's talk about Shinji and Ray. I pulled Shinji, I pulled Ray. I haven't pulled the light and dark ones. I wanted to get the elemental ones first before I go for the light dark ones. Actually, before I get into that, I know people were kind of mad about the whole like, oh, I gotta spend 800 summons to get the light and dark one. To be honest, I don't find it that big of a deal. Maybe because of Sky Arena brain. So in Sky Arena, I play Summons for Sky Arena as well, and I played that for 8 years. LDs are hard to get, and in Summons for Chronicles, LDs are actually not hard to get. I have a lot of LDs in this game. I have, you know, as a sidebar, I have, where are they? Default 5, boom, boom. So I have pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which sounds like a lot. People are like, oh, that's crazy. You have 17 LD5s. They're not that hard to get in this game, mainly because like as long as you're playing the game, you'll get LD scrolls, you'll get LD legendaries, you can get LDs from regular mystic scrolls. LDs are not hard to get in this game, and honestly, I don't mind the whole pity being 800, because to be honest, like it's just not that crazy. I know like when people saw the numbers like put out in the notice, it was large, and I get it, but to be honest, like I said, I've been under the mentality that LDs are very, very hard to get, and I know People are gonna like complain, and I understand, but personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe a hot take is what it is. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Anyways, back to Shinji. So Shinji, I went over his skills before I recorded the video. His basic attack, he hits 2 times. His second attack, or his S1, throws the lance of Longinus. Okay, so don't judge me. I haven't, I haven't watched Evangelion. I love the theme song, by the way, but I haven't watched the Evangelion, so I don't know too much about the terminology or how to say certain stuff from the show. So I'm probably gonna say it wrong. Don't hurt me, sorry. But those are the lance of Longinus to the enemy. That's the furthest way to attack the enemies within the area and grants defense down. Additionally, removes all beneficial effects of the enemy that's furthest away within the area and uses Lance of Longinus when more than a certain number of beneficial effects have been removed. The beneficial effect removal accuracy will be applied with an attribute advantage. So already just saying this in raids doesn't matter because there's no attributes on a lot of raid bosses. This is more for like maybe arena and siege. But overall, like he still does defense down. So it's for starters, good at any raid. Good at any raid, mainly because of the defense down. I want to check his damage, so that could be pretty good. But already good in any raid. You could pretty much, like I said, you're gonna have Perna already, so you can use Perna him and somebody else just based off of that. Drops the lance of Longinus on the enemy target. The furthest away to attacking grants unrecoverable. Decreases the target. Decreases the cooldown of piercing strike if the target is defeated with this attack. So the thing about this attack is that again in raids this won't matter because if you defeat the raid boss, the raid's over. So it's whatever. But the unrecoverable is still pretty good in a raid like Tree of Heroes, because Tree of Heroes the boss heals himself. So this is actually a pretty good. He's not terrible in raids. He's not the worst. Are there better options? Yes. But overall, if you want to take him into a raid, it's actually not the worst thing to do. Range counter grants immunity against provoke and increases the damage based on the distance from the attacked target. Excuse me. The vertical length of the range of pierce strike is 10 meters. That I have to see this in action. Additionally, it decreases the skill cooldown based on the number of revived targets when the enemy revives a team member. This skill is only applied in arena and siege battles. So they're basically just saying is he's mainly for arena. So if you want to use him in arena against like maybe a Perna or just a Kraka, because honestly that's kind of what it's kind of going at. This is basically just for Kraka. This is basically a monster that you will probably use in the Kraka. I don't know how good it would be because Kraka is very prevalent in like arena defenses right now. So if you want to use it in the Kraka, it doesn't sound like a bad idea because Kraka is over a lot of defenses. Like if you look at Kraka, if you look at arena right now, you look at someone like the top I would say rankings, you'll see Kraka all over the place. Okay, maybe not. Let's see if we can find some Krakas. How many Krakas are here? There's one Kraka. There's a lot of Nyx. That's crazy. Nyx is kind of taking over. It's a lot of Nyx and Artemil and Light Ray. Light Ray, I'll get into her. I think she's busted. I think she's really good. So not too much crack in the top. Maybe like in server. Let me see in our server. Yeah, there's Cracker there. It's probably the same guy, I think. Cracker right here, Cracker right here. Yeah, so now you see more Crackers. I think it depends on the server. So you can build Shinji, water Shinji, and see if it works in the Crackers. I may test it out, see for myself, or maybe ask the community. But overall, it sounds like you may want to bring that into a Cracker. So that's right. But I still do think if you are bringing him into into a raid, even like Tree of Heroes, he's not the worst. He's actually not that bad because I will say this comes pretty clutch to unrecoverable because, and like I said, Tree of Heroes, he does heal himself, so that actually pretty good. So I would say if you want to use him in raids, not the worst, not the best. He's kind of like in the middle when it comes to that. Then we have Ray, who I think the Wind Ray, who I think actually has very good viability in primarily Naraka. Naraka, she's actually pretty good, a pretty good option, not gonna lie. So, and she on her basic attack, she grants defense up to herself, which is pretty good. And then on her first skill, which is 3 mana, which is again really good for Naraka. Deals damage based on the max HP on enemies within the area and grants damage dealt down and provoked with a certain chance. So this also sounds pretty good in like maybe Siege and Arena, but when I see this, I think automatically very good for Naraka, which Naraka is the Dragon Raid, this raid right here, Boiling Waterfall, because at a certain point in the raid, there's a whole bunch of like elementals that come out, and in order to deplete their shield, you provoke them. And so basically, Raid can provoke them, deplete the shield, and you just basically destroy all of them, and you ain't got to worry about her dying because she has defense up to herself, and then she applies damage down to all of the elementals. So it actually makes her very viable for that. So if you want to use it in Naraka, really good option actually. Not actually pretty good there. I'm being dead serious about that. And then she also has a heal, which is also pretty good. So if it gets pretty sketchy, you could just heal yourself and then remove harmful effects, which is also pretty good because they do apply harmful effects to you in Naraka, so you can get rid of those as well. And then increases the crit res based on the lost HP and increases damage taken. Removes all beneficial effects whenever a beneficial effect are applied to all enemies in a team or region. And basically, this is Arena. They basically have like viability in Arena and Siege Battle. To be honest with you, I think Rei is probably a little bit better in Arena and Siege Battle than Shinji. But she's actually not a bad option. So if you want to use her as a tank for Arena, she's definitely pretty good there. I think she's actually a bit better than Shinji personally, because I think she just has a little bit more use in like what you will use her for. And like I said, she has pretty good early game use because instead of building like maybe like the water mummy, you could build her. She's actually pretty good for that slot. And also, if you're looking for like artifacts, just go by recommended. Usually, recommended doesn't really. Recommended is not nothing here. Just do anything that basically decreases damage or anything that like gives them survivability. You're totally fine. If you're looking for artifacts, but just go off that. If you want to get any with artifact guide, put it in the comment section. We'll go over it. When it comes to Light Ray, I think Light Ray is insane. I think Light Ray is actually genuinely kind of stupid, and everybody's going for her. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. She's insane. She gets defense up to herself, and the team here with the lowest HP ratio. So two people get defense buff, and recovers the HP. Again, this is on your basic attack. It's not a basic attack. I think it's a defensive stance. Whatever. Deals damage based on his max HP and steals a beneficial effect and provokes. A strip and a provoke. Kind of insane. Has a heal. Grants and heal and immunity. This monster is cracked and gains immunity and gets it, so you can oblivion her. She's literally cracked. She's insane. So if you want to blow your crystals, blow it for her. She's kind of dumb. She's really good, but she's primarily good in like Siege and Arena. Like she's very good Arena defense monster. That's why you see her like in our server like everywhere, because she's genuinely just kind of cracked. This monster is insane. And then you have a Water Dark Shinji, who I actually haven't read. I just know about Light Ray because again everybody was talking about her and she's literally freaking insane. So Dark Shinji attacks 2 times, throws the Lance of Loginus to the front of the enemy. He grants Oblivion, which is pretty good. I'm trying to paraphrase this because I don't want to make this video too much longer. Increases damage dealt up to itself. So basically, he's a nuker. He does a lot of damage, and he Oblivions, so he's kind of Tessarion, but not. But he basically increases his own damage, and once he throws his S1, drops the Lance of Loginus to deal damage based on the max HP and defense down. Additionally, grants block harmful effect removal on the attack target if it possesses max synchronization. To be honest, without even reading all the skills, I think he just requires too much. And to be honest, and also in Summoners Chronicles, it's pretty bad to have 2 skills that are like 4 and 4 or 4 or anything higher. Just for a side note, in Summons for Chronicles, usually if the monster has a 4 or higher cost, it better be damn worth it. And honestly, he doesn't sound too bad, and I want to go through his skills, but I would rather pull him first to like really test him out and see his limits and everything like that, because to see his potential. But if you are like a person that's like, if I have 800 scrolls, who would it go for? Honestly, I would go for like Ray. I would 1000% go like Ray. But if you are a person that's like not into, again, PvP content like Arena or Siege or anything like that, then I actually genuinely think Win Ray is pretty solid. I think she's actually pretty good, and you actually will use her in some content, because she's a pretty darn good tank with good survivability and a heal. So she actually has use in a lot of stuff, and you can use her in a lot of content in the game, because for raids, they're not element based, so you can use her in any raid you want. That's why I said Naraka. People are like, oh, Naraka's probably fire. It's not. It has no element. So I think she's actually pretty freaking good, and I actually want to probably do a video later just showing off them in certain content and just seeing where they can be pretty maximized, and that's pretty good. But that's it. We're just gonna go off of that. Like I said, if you want me to go into context about anything new in the game, because Summons for Chronicles from yesterday compared to today, but I say yesterday I mean like day one, there's a lot in this game now. There's a lot of new stuff in this game, and if you want me to go over any of it, just let me know in the comment section below, and I check all the comments, and if you want me to, I will make a video on it, because like I said, I'm coming back into the game, and there's a lot of content I want to know about too. So with that is all. I hope you guys have a great day, and again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.